Hi, welcome back. We are about to start our leek and potato soup. And so far I have gotten everything ready. I've cleaned my leeks and I cut the roots off of them. I've cut them in half, ran them underwater to dislodge any other dirt that might be in amongst the leaves of the leek. I've peeled 2 pounds of potatoes and I've also chopped up 3 stalks of celery. I have 4 cups of chicken stock. It said to use 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm using a vegan butter because my son is dairy and gluten free. And then I also have my seasonings over there ready to go. And so we're just going to start. What I'm going to do now, after I've cut my leeks in half, aren't those lovely? Now I'm going to cut them across, like I cut them in half lengthwise. Now I'm going to cut across into 1/4-inch pieces. And it said that if the leeks are still dirty in with the leaves, just put those slices into a bowl of water and kind of shake them around in the water to dislodge any other dirt. And then you can just use a slotted spoon to bring out those leek slices. So we'll see. When I cut them in half, I did run them under the tap to get any other dirt that was in there. So we'll just see. So far I'm not seeing any other dirt. Oh, I lied. Okay, I found one little piece here. Looks like bark mulch or compost. It's quite could be either one of those. Okay, so I'll push these out of the way and then I'm going to chop up the rest of these. It said to pick the 3 biggest leeks, so that is what I did. And then with the rest of my leeks, I want to dehydrate them. I was looking in my dehydration guidebook and I couldn't find anything on leeks, so I ended up having to Google it, and I did find a plan to dehydrate these leeks, so hopefully it will work. Let's cut the rest of these up because I would really like to dehydrate them. And then you can use them in future soups, or you could put it on salads. Oh, see though, there's some dirt right there. So I'll pull that off to the side. And I see another one that has dirt in it. There's a couple of pieces here. So running into a little more dirty areas on these. These are kind of strong. Like, I find like my eyes are burning a little bit. Not bad. I'm usually pretty good as far as slicing onions up. Okay, we'll just slice the rest of this leek up. Oh, there's another chunk. I'll rinse that piece off. Not too bad as far as dirt goes. Found a couple of pieces that need to have some rinsing off. So I'll rinse these pieces off and then we will get started. We got those other pieces rinsed off. Now I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer. So I need to put 2 tablespoons of butter in my pot. Turn that on, and I'm just having it on medium heat. My butter is melted. Now I'm going to add my leeks to my butter. Okay. And I'm also going to add my chopped up celery. And I want to make sure that my leeks and my celery are coated with that butter. Stir them, get them all coated. Once they're coated, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid on my pot. Make sure I get all my leeks in there. Put my lid on my pot. And I'm going to turn this down to low, and I'm just going to simmer this for 10 minutes on low. And I'm going to check on it and stir it just to make sure that it doesn't get brown and start burning to the bottom of the pot. Okay, there's my timer. Take this lid off. Give them a little stir. They look lovely. Okay, so now we are going to add my chicken stock. And this is a chicken stock that I made from my chicken carcasses that after we took all the meat off of the bone, off the carcass, I roasted those carcasses and made some chicken broth. So we need to add that and the potatoes. While this leeks were simmering, I chopped my potatoes. So I have 2 pounds of potatoes that I'm putting in here. So there's my 2 pounds of potatoes. Now I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt. And that's just a sea salt. I need a pinch of marjoram. And a half a teaspoon of dried thyme. And after I get my lid on properly, a bay leaf. We're also going to turn this heat back up to high, get it back up to a simmer again. And this soup we're having for dinner tonight, so I'm gonna make it, and then once it's finished, then I will just shut it off, and then when it gets closer to dinner time, then I'm going to reheat it back up again. That's what we're having for dinner. We're actually going over to my son's house tonight for a bonfire and marshmallows. A year ago this date, my youngest son's partner passed away from skin cancer. So we are getting together and having a bonfire, roasting some marshmallows, kind of just remembering, and because it has been a year, and basically just a little celebration of remembering Jake, and so yeah, I think it'll be good. It's been a pretty emotional year for my son, and I also told him that the first year is going to be the hardest. I remember when my mom passed away, the first year was the absolute hardest. All the firsts that come up, the birthdays, the Christmas, and anniversary of, you know, when they started seeing each other, during fishing time, because he was a very avid fisherman. So all of those things kind of put into play and really kind of tug on your heartstrings, and it's pretty emotional the first year. Things get a little bit better after that, but it's still pretty hard for them. Once you get it back up to a boil, then what you're going to do is you're going to cover it again, and you're going to let that, once you get it to a boil, you'll turn it back down to low. You're going to cover it again, and then you're going to let that simmer for another 20 minutes, depending on how big your chunks of potatoes are. Some might take a little longer, but they definitely need to be soft. So we're almost at a boil now. We have this just starting to boil around the edges. I'm going to turn this down to low, so it'll be at a low simmer. I'm going to put the lid back on, and we are going to let this simmer for another 20 minutes, and then we will come back and move on to the next step. We're back. While it was simmering, I decided to have a quick shower, so that I didn't have to worry about doing that later. And now it has turned out to be absolutely beautiful outside. I really wish I had that wheelbarrow now. But I have asked my husband to please remember to bring back the wheelbarrow today when he comes back from the gun range. So let's take a look at the soup. I did come out after 20 minutes and just tested one of the potatoes, and it still needed a little bit more time. Okay, I'm going to turn this off, and then I'm going to find the bay leaf and get it out. I didn't think it would be this hard to find. It's a pretty big bay leaf. Unless it's stuck to the side of the pot. Oh, I think I found it. Okay, get that out. Just gonna put that in the lid. Okay. Okay, next I'm taking my immersion blender, and I am going to blend up this soup this way. You could do it with a stand-up blender as well, but for me, you would have to do it in batches, and this way I could just do the whole thing with my immersion blender. Just gotta make sure you don't take it out of the soup fully, or then you're gonna have a real mess. This used to be my parents' immersion blender, so it is pretty old. And you don't have to fully blend everything. You can leave a few little chunks if that is what you want to do. It's all on preference. I'm just going to immerse it until I think it's, on the most part, blended. And if I do find the odd chunk, I'm okay with that. But on the most part, I am blending the whole thing. Okay, I think that is good. This is super easy to clean. You just run it under the tap and it just cleans it. And I'll just put this on a towel and let it dry. So next I'm going to be adding some dried parsley. It said fresh, but and I've got all that fresh parsley out in my garden. And a couple of shakes of Tabasco. Some fresh ground pepper. Give it a stir. You don't have to put the Tabasco in there. It is totally preference. We don't mind. I don't want things that are hot, but I don't mind a bit of heat. That doesn't bother me. So then we're gonna give it a taste. That is hot. Holy. It dripped on my hand. I think it needs a little bit more salt. So I'm just going to add some kosher salt. Those potatoes will soak up a lot of salt in them. So in the recipe it says to try it, and then if you have to add salt, then definitely do so. But it just needed a titch more of salt. Okay, I'm gonna grab a clean spoon. And we'll try this again. I'm not going to stick my hand under it this time. That's way better. Okay, that is really good. So now I'm just going to let it sit in this pot because we will heat it up for this evening to have with dinner. I was thinking about making some buns to go with this, but I think I'm gonna go outside and get some more work done, maybe pull out a few more plants and get those out of the garden as well. So thanks for joining me. I hope you like this video. If you like the video, put a like in there, and if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.